It's Friday, January 13th, 2017. I'm your host, Sarah Mannel. We have a great show in store for you today. The Barnstable Youth Commission is planning its third annual Youth Summit. We're going to find out who will be speaking this year. A new law allows citizens to rescue a pet in distress in the car. We find out more about that with Animal Control Officer Charlie Lewis. And we chat with newly appointed Assistant Recreation Director John Gleeson about some great recreation programs on this episode of Barnstable Today. In our top story today, the Barnstable Youth Commission and Council on Aging are teaming up to build a bridge across generations. The groups are participating in the Bridges Together program, which is designed to reduce ageism in younger adults and to increase longevity in seniors. You can still sign up to be a part of the program. You can contact the Barnstable Senior Center to sign up. The Conservation Commission will review plans to make Luke's Love Playground a little safer. Town officials will again present plans to the Conservation Commission. The plans have been revised to move the playground closer to the 50-foot buffer. The Conservation Commission meets Tuesday, January 17th at 3 in the Town Hall hearing room. Well, up next, a new law allows citizens to break into a car if they believe a pet is in distress. Animal Control Officer Charlie Lewis will help us understand the implications of that law and when it can be used. A new law recently came into effect, allowing individuals to break into a car if they suspect that an animal is in distress. Joining us now to talk more about this issue is Charlie Lewis. He's the Animal Control Officer here in the town of Barnstable. Charlie, tell me a little bit about what the purpose of this law is.
Well, it's to make sure that animals that are left in cars are not overheated, overdriven, or even when it's cold, because they become, vehicles become like ice boxes, especially vans and such. So cold weather is just as much at play as the hot weather.
Interesting. I really honestly hadn't thought of that before, Charlie. Lots of people love bringing their dogs with them where they go. They can't bring them inside, so a popular option is often to leave them in the car. You have told me multiple times that is really not the safest idea.
No, the temperature goes up about 20 degrees in the first 10 to 15 minutes, and then probably close to 10 degrees every 10 to 15 minutes after that. So within a half hour to 40 minutes, it can be, if it's outside temperature is 80, it could be 120 in that car very quickly.
And like you said, same for the cold weather too. If it's pretty cold outside, it's going to be even colder in a vehicle. Is that right?
That's correct, yes.
Now, I want to talk to you a little bit about the particulars of this law, because I know we have a lot of concerned citizens who may find an animal in the car. What are they and what are they not allowed to do according to this new law?
Well, first thing about the law is that it does give permission for anyone to enter a vehicle to remove that dog if, in fact, it is in distress. And that is the key word, if it is in distress.
Now, that's something I think that would be a little bit a gray area. How do we determine if a dog is in distress or if a dog isn't?
Well, if the dog is soaking wet and it's really panting, then it probably is a good indicator that it's in distress. Otherwise, it's really visual, and that's what makes this law difficult for me as an animal control officer to even envision being as it is. I think it's perfectly fine that a police officer, firefighter, or animal control officer be able to enter a vehicle should that animal be in distress, because we're trained in that area. As far as the ordinary citizen, that's a little different. You do have vet techs out there, and they certainly do know, so, it does give them. But the first thing that anyone has to do is make an honest effort to locate the owner and or keeper of that vehicle and or dog. So before any window is broken or anybody calls, a tow company to open the door, they do have to make a diligent effort to find that dog. And then a layperson must also call the police station in the town in which they're at and tell them exactly what they're going to do. And then animal control is on the way. A layperson takes the dog out and cannot leave the vehicle or the immediate area of that vehicle. They must stand by for either the police, the animal control, and or the owner to return. A officer, on the other hand, has the right to take that dog to a facility for emergency treatment if necessary. We can actually remove it now to the kennel and house it until the owner comes forward. And the big part of this law is that anyone that creates, through this effort, anyone that creates a bill, for instance, the vet, the kennel, any town impound fees, if we call a locksmith, if we call a fire department, if they have a service charge, the owner of that dog is responsible before they get the dog back. So before anybody breaks a window, I really would suggest that they just stand by for animal control and let us proceed from there. They can certainly begin the process of trying to locate the owner. They, hopefully will call the police department right away as well.
Now, just to clarify, Charlie, because I was a little confused. So who is responsible? If the person is the person breaking the window responsible for those bills, or the animal, or the pet owner?
No, the pet owner.
So if you felt the need to break into someone's car, you could be putting someone into a pretty tight situation there. So like you said, want to be sure to check and try and find the car owner or pet owner, so to speak.
And, if someone breaks a window, breaking the driver's side window, for instance, or a vent window to reach in to unlock the door, they take a real huge risk of being bitten by that dog, because they're going to protect that dog, their territory. So I really discourage anyone from doing it unless that dog is in really bad condition.
Now, have you heard of anyone using this law any private citizens using this law to try to protect an animal at this point?
We actually had an individual before the law came into play at the Christmas tree shops over here, broke 2 windows in a car. And they were fortunate that, everything worked out, that they weren't held accountable, because they did, in fact, call the police department before they did it, and they did try to locate someone prior to doing it.
Now, here's a question for you, Charlie. How many hours do we have someone available at animal control if someone was found a situation where a dog was in distress in a vehicle and they wanted to call the professionals instead of just going out on their own and doing it? How often is someone on duty in the town of Barnstable?
During the summer months, we plan on having someone available from 6:30 in the morning until 11 o'clock at night.
Wow. 3
nights a week. And 2 days will obviously be to offset each officer's time, for the days off. In the wintertime, we currently go from on Monday, Thursday, and Friday. We're here from 6:30 in the morning until 11 o'clock at night, and then the other days, 6:30 to 3 during the week, and on weekends it varies.
Thank you so much for joining us today, Charlie, and telling us everything we need to know about this new law. We really appreciate it, and I know you need to head out there and get back to work. We really appreciate it.
Thank you.
All right, thanks so much.
Bye.
Bye. Our guest today, Animal Control Officer Charlie Lewis. The Barnstable Youth Commission is hard at work organizing its annual youth summit with the goal of reducing teen drug and alcohol use. We're going to find out more with Director of Leisure Services, Patty Machado. The Barnstable Youth Commission is a very active and engaged group of young people. With me now to discuss some of the activities of the Barnstable Youth Commission is Director of Leisure Services, Patty Machado. Patty, you're really involved in the Youth Commission. Tell me, what are they working on right now?
Currently, they're working on we have a youth summit and a community substance abuse night, so that everyone can get together before we actually meet with the 7th graders. We take all the 7th graders. They're also working on a youth job fair to try and partner up with businesses in the summer that are looking for that could use youth in the town, kids under 18 that are looking for jobs. And they're also talking about education with that, in that they'll learn how to do a resume and how to interview and how to fill out an application so that they're better prepared to get into the working world.
That is a really awesome idea, I have
Yeah.
to say. Skills kids really need, and before you've had that first interview, you really don't know what to expect.
Right.
You don't necessarily know how to present yourself. So very important practical skills there.
Yeah.
I want to go back a little bit to that youth summit that's coming up that they're planning. This is a two-part
Yes,
event.
yes.
So the first part is an evening event, right?
Right.
With parents, where the parents can come.
Parents, anybody from the community, anybody from Cape Cod or anywhere actually, that is interested in learning about what's going on or hear the guest speaker that we have coming in. This year, we've secured Chris Herron. So he will be coming in on Thursday, March 16th. It'll be at Cape Cod Community College that evening. We are asking people to mark it on their calendar right now. You know, if you want to hear Chris Herron speak, this is your opportunity. And for those that don't know what he's all about, you can go on and research at any time. He was part of the Celtics. He grew up in Fall River, and he has a wonderful story, and he's passionate, and he really is a great speaker, and will really help families and I think the community in general, just having the opportunity to hear him, and even more so the next day when we have all the 7th graders have the opportunity to meet with him. He is doing 2 sessions, so we're splitting, there's 400 kids in a class, so about 400 kids in a class, so we'll split them into groups of 200. So, and we're at Cape Cod Community College even for the forum on the 17th, but the kids will be able to almost reach out and touch him and have the opportunity to really interact and get a good feeling from him, like he's their friend. The way he speaks, I think he will gain a lot. Will gain a lot here.
I have to say, I think that he came to Barnstable High School, I want to say 4 or 5 years ago. It's been a
Yes.
while now. But I actually got the chance to interview him. He is a very passionate speaker. It is so heartwarming to see that he has taken his addiction battle,
Right.
Really after recovering, and made it his mission
Yeah.
to address children and really try to work hard to prevent some of these substance abuse issues that children are
Right.
dealing with, not only children, but also adults. So really interesting, I think, for kids to have someone that they really look up to, or that they can see, you know, this is a really famous basketball player who destroyed his career
Right.
with drugs.
Right.
So he talks a lot about that, and I think it's important for them to hear that message.
At the same time, showing that, you know, if you get into a situation, not necessarily drugs, but if you're going down a path and you're making bad decisions, there's still an opportunity to change things and make good out of bad things, you know. So a lot of times once kids are on a path, they continue to escalate down that path instead of saying, okay, I can turn that corner and change the path that I'm going to take. And I think he speaks well to that as well. So there's a real positive message at the end with him. Plus, it's kind of cool that we actually got him. We actually attained him last year at the end of, before the Youth Summit started last year, we were able to get him signed up for this year. And then we ended up with Meg Mayo Brown as our superintendent, who's from Fall River. So she has a connection with him pretty strong. So it's kind of a coming home kind of thing. So, you know.
And I think actually too, Herron received treatment at Gosnold in Falmouth.
Right. And
so,
Gosnold will also be a part of the whole Youth Summit, and has been since we started 3 years ago.
you know, you mentioned this Youth Summit has gone on for a few years now.
Mm-hmm.
What are you hearing from kids who have attended the summit or who've worked on the summit? I mean, is it really making an impact? Because it seems to me that this is really working and really making a difference.
Well, actually, it's funny that you asked that. Lynn, we wrote a grant. Maura Healy invited us to participate in a grant from the state, and we've requested money to help pay for the Youth Summit and 2 other projects for social issues and substance abuse, and so did the high school. And so the information that we got from the high school showed that this year's 8th grade class, actually the use of substance has gone down. So we can't tell that it's directly related to our Youth Summit, but it's got to have something to do with it. So I think we are reaching the kids. Not enough, but, you know, if we can save 1 kid, we're doing our job, you know.
If you can make 1 kid stop and pause, and I think I remember too from youth summits in the past, learning a lot about if you can delay a child's introduction to alcohol and drugs, that's actually a huge, huge thing and can make a really big difference in their life because the longer they hold off, the less they are likely to become addicted to a substance. So really important, I think, to get this message at such an age where kids are really transitioning into the high school at 8th grade, lots of social pressures. So I think an important thing to continue that summit.
Yeah. And that's a big part of that summit. The 7th graders go to a class actually with the high school seniors. So, to talk about what the high school offers and what opportunities they have to join clubs, not necessarily just sports, but clubs that are offered. They're blown away by what's offered out there. And I've seen, we have an 8th grader right now who's trying to start their own club because they learned they could do that at the youth summit. So it is making a difference in our community.
And also giving them introductions to resources in our community where they can turn to help. Because I think so many, one part of the Youth Summit, which we didn't talk about today, is when you invite all of those nonprofits, you invite police officers, community resource officers. So, having them see all of these outlets and different places they can turn to help, I think is really also important for them.
And it's a community, I mean, we have it, they're also there on the 16th, all these agencies, so that the community can see what's available. And ask questions there and get help if they need help. If you're looking for help out there, if you can come to this event, there's probably something there, and if not, you ask one of the youth commissions and they will help get you to where you need to be.
So you said we want to make sure it's on our calendars. Give me that date one more time so we can make sure to write
March
that down.
16th, which is a Thursday night, and it will be at Cape Cod Community College, 5:30.
Perfect. Thank you, Patty, for stopping by and telling us all about this year's Youth Summit. We really appreciate it.
You're welcome.
Patty Machado is the Director of Leisure Services. So much more to come on Barnstable Today. The Recreation Division has done some really great programs, developed some great programs, and they're offering them. We are going to learn so much more about those programs during our chat with new Assistant Recreation Director John Gleeson. The Recreation Division has so many programs to offer, and to learn more about those programs, we have invited John Gleeson, the newly appointed Assistant Recreation Director. Very glad to have you on the program.
Well, thanks for having me.
Want to talk about some of these programs in the wintertime, because you guys offer some really amazing programs.
Yep. Yeah, so the first one we're going to talk about is basketball. We provide basketball for girls kindergarten through 7th grade. And some girls also play in our high school basketball league, so actually through 12th grade. And then same for the boys. We offer boys basketball kindergarten through high school. All the programs for the younger kids and the high school kids are on Saturdays, mornings and afternoons, and the 4th through 7th grade is after school. And we have tons of kids in the program, and they're having a great time.
And really important, too, to note that sometimes I think when kids get to high school, they may try out for the high school basketball team. Not everyone can make it. It's a pretty small roster on the high school basketball team. So there are a lot of kids who are very talented and very athletic, who love basketball, who may not be able to play. So this is a great opportunity for those individuals to still be active in a sport that they love.
Absolutely. I mean, we have some very talented kids in our high school rec program. They're athletes that just missed the cut of basketball, but there were really good football players or lacrosse players or baseball players. So they're still looking for an outlet to play. And we also have kids that just want to play basketball and have a good time. So we have all skill levels. It's for the beginner to the kid that just misses out on the high school team, and kids that don't make the high school team, maybe as an 8th grader freshman. If they keep working hard, I do know of a handful of kids that have gone back the following year and have made the high school team. So it's just a great opportunity for those kids to still get involved and play and have a good time, and play with their friends, and get a little coaching, and just get a little sweat on a Saturday afternoon.
Well, and there's something important too, I think, about learning to be a part of a team and teamwork, and that feeling just isn't necessarily replicated in a lot of other things. So, important for kids to be able to participate in a team sport like that.
Absolutely. I mean, it works on their life skills, leadership, communication, hard work, dedication, all these core values that these kids can pick up playing these activities. And it's nice when you see the kids come together, and have a good time, and you can see them learning not only the skills of basketball, but just the skills of life out there.
That's right, the skills of life. I
yes,
like
absolutely.
that. And also, basketball isn't the only thing you offer. Let's talk a little bit about futsal. So maybe first, before we talk about it, I think there's a lot of confusion sometimes. So let's start with, what is futsal?
Okay, futsal is indoor soccer. So it's a soccer game played indoors, and they play with a smaller ball. So it's not the normal soccer size soccer ball they use. It's a smaller ball, and they play indoors. And UKSD, Coach Doc helps us run that with Melanie Mimo, and it's just a phenomenal program. The kids have a blast, they have a good time. It seems like these days kids can't get enough of certain sports, so it's good that we can offer them at different periods of time. And I believe Fitzall's more skill-based, where they're working a lot more on skills because they're not as much open space, in a regular soccer game. So they really have to fine-tune, their foot skills and their passing to score goals, when they're out there.
Or that defense.
Yes, or they can work on defense, marking their player.
Take that ball back. Get that ball back.
Absolutely. So it's a good program where they can really hone their skills to then transfer those skills out, to the field come the spring, summer, or fall when they're playing.
Yeah. Another really cool event that you have organized, I want to talk a little bit about this. Yes. This sounds really awesome. Well, it is a bus trip to Connecticut, New Haven, right?
We're going right to Stores. We're going to Gamble Pavilion.
Okay.
I believe it's about 2.5-hour trip, maybe a little bit longer on a bus.
That's not so bad.
But we're on a coach bus, so we're going to have great seats. We're going to be comfortable. We'll have movies playing while we're traveling. But we're going to see local star Molly Bent, who started playing basketball in our rec when she was in 3rd grade. At least that's the first time I coached her in 3rd grade. And we are just beyond thrilled of all that she has, all that she's done. And she's not done yet. She's still, she's only a freshman, so she's got a long way to go.
So she's a freshman, and she's playing for the Huskies, right?
Yeah, she's playing for the Yukon Huskies. They're ranked,
women's team.
Yeah, they're ranked #1 in the country. They've won, I believe, 90 games in a row. It's the longest streak in women's history. They tied another Yukon team from the past as the longest win streak.
Wow. Now, let me ask you this question. She is a freshman, but is she still getting playing time?
It depends. So, she's a freshman, so she has to earn her time. But when they've played some top-notch teams, top 10 teams in the country, I've looked at the box scores, and she hasn't really received much time or no time at all. But when they've had some games that are a little, where they're up by a little
less
more
competitive, maybe?
She's getting about 10 to 15 minutes a game at some point. So she's definitely getting some playing time, and the team they're going to play is Tulane. So I'm expecting that they would win by a healthy margin, so we'd have a great opportunity to see Molly out there for some time.
Awesome, good to know. That just sounds like a lot of fun. So this trip that you have put together is a really cool opportunity. Mm-hmm. The bus is going to depart from Barnstable, is that right?
Yeah, we're departing from the Highness Youth and Community Center roughly at 9:45 in the morning. The trip is available to all. So it's not just for our rec participants, it's not just for the local high school teams to come with us, it's for everybody. A couple days ago, we just got 2 senior citizens that lived in Connecticut but retired down here, and they just bought 2 tickets to come with us because, they love the Huskies.
Yeah.
And Yukon is, for the most part, for women's basketball, they're more of a New England team than just a Connecticut team because there's not much prolific women's college basketball around this area. So they have fans far-reaching. So we're hoping that there's some Yukon fans out there on Cape Cod that would love to come with us. And
it's so affordable, $50 a ticket. That includes bus fare as well as your game ticket.
Yep.
What date is this taking place?
It's Sunday, January 22nd. It's coming up shortly. But after the game, I talked to Molly's mother, and I do know Molly's going to come visit us after the game, so we're going to stick around, and she's going to take her own time and come meet everyone that comes, and maybe if those kids maybe sign some autographs.
That is so cool. What a unique opportunity, and really exciting to see someone from Barnstable being such a success in their sports endeavors.
Yeah, no, like I said earlier, we're just absolutely thrilled, and for someone from Cape Cod to achieve or to go to a school like UConn and play basketball it's phenomenal.
So contact you guys at the HYCC if we want tickets.
Yep, they can call our office, 508 790-6345, and they can reach my extension at 128. I'd be happy to answer any questions on the trip, and we still have a few tickets left, and we'd love to see them disappear in the next couple of days and fill up those buses so we can support Molly.
Awesome. Well, thank you for stopping by and telling us about all the great things that are happening in the Recreation Division. Also, congratulations on your new role here with the town. We really think that is well deserved.
Yeah, thank you. I'm looking forward to the new challenge and the new position, and it's going to be a fun ride the next couple of years learning the position.
Sounds good. Thanks, John.
Oh,
really
thank you.
Appreciate it. Of course, our guest today, John Gleeson, who is the new Assistant Director for the Recreation Division. Now let's find out what's happening around town in today's community calendar. Well, you can see if your trivia skills are lucky at the Cultural Center of Cape Cod's first Sober Social. That's being held tonight from 7:30 to 10 p.m. The social is free and open to the public. This is the first in a series of monthly events to serve those in recovery from addiction by offering a vibrant, entertaining, substance-free atmosphere, highlighting different themes and activities centered around the arts. That's, of course, taking place at the Cultural Center of Cape Cod. Small business owners can learn better ways to grow their business through networking at a free workshop offered by SCORE. The networking workshop will be held next Wednesday, January 18th from 8:30 a.m. to 10 a.m. at the Bridgewater State University Yarmouth campus in the MacArthur Building. Well, there are no meetings here in Town Hall today, and just a note, Town Hall offices and town offices will be closed Monday in observance of Martin Luther King Day. We will be back on Tuesday with a great show for you. We are going to chat with Police Chief Paul McDonald. We'll talk with DPW Director Dan Santos and so much more. For Barnstable Today, I'm Sarah Mannel.